Hey, what's up, Loyal, and welcome back to the Cover 3. I'm your host, Rob Fredrickson, and joining me is Sean Kilkenny and Mike Valenti, and we got the regular cast back for today. So let's get right into it, guys. We have 3 topics to go over, and let's start right with the NBA right now. Jeremy Lin, we're going to go back to that story time and time again as long as it keeps happening. They did suffer a loss to the Nets last night after they had a huge victory against the Mavericks on Sunday. Is it a coincidence that Melo didn't play in the game against the Mavericks, but he played last night against the Nets? Guys, is this a sign of bad things to come, Sean?
I don't know if it's a sign of bad things to come. I think he's just got to shake the rust off a little bit. He's got to get used to playing with a point guard again. Last year we saw what Raymond Felton could do with the pick and roll with Amari. Now they have Lin working the pick and roll. So I think now that they have a point guard, they'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah, I just think they need some time. Like you said, Amari is rusty, hasn't played for 7 games. And in some instances in that game, they did move the ball really well. They got Amari down low, dunking on people. I just think they need more time and some practice time, too, as well. They don't get a lot of practice anymore. Once they get that going, I think this team will be fine.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fine as well. I don't think it's a sign of bad things to come. I think more of what happened with the Nets game last night is that they ran into Deron Williams, who dropped 38 points, 8 3-pointers. The defense would be...
Their defense let them down completely, and they don't guard the three-point line well at all. So they let Deron Williams drop 8 3-pointers on them. That's one of the best in a game in a long time.
I completely agree. They got to be able to defend the 3 ball.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to give up that many looks, a lot of them are bound to go in, especially in this league.
I agree. I mean, I watched some of the game film, and Deron Williams, he was just on fire last night. There was no doubt about it. He was just back to his old form. He was just hitting threes, fadeaways, with people in his grill. It was a bad game defensively for the Knicks, but if I could say anything about Melo and the way he played, he was still passing the ball. He found Lin for a wide open 3-pointer. He found Amari a couple of times for wide open dunks in the lane. So, like you said, maybe they just need some time, one practice, because we know they don't get many because of the lockout. And I think this team can get it together. But guys, I'm going to go right into my second question now. Who is the most important player to this team now with Lin? You have either Melo, Amari, or Lin. Mike, who do you think is the most important?
I certainly think it's Melo. He's an NBA superstar. There's a reason why they trade half their team to get him. I think Lin's a good player. He's been playing very well, obviously, but the Knicks' schedule is going to be very tough coming up. They have to go to Miami. They have to go to Chicago. Lin has played against some soft teams in his 9 starts. So I still think that Melo's the most important player to this team. But if they want to make it work, I think that both Melo and Stoudemire have to change their game a little bit to have because they have a realistic point guard now.
I gotta go Jeremy Lin. I know the schedule's been a little soft, but he's been averaging 25 points, 9 dimes, and a point guard is what really makes the team go, and especially in D'Antoni's system. And I just think that he's the most important moving forward right now.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Sean, because I know this is a bold statement to make, and I know Mike probably disagrees with us wholeheartedly, but at the same time, he is putting up superstar numbers right now. There's no doubt about it. Like you said, he's averaging 25 and 9. Like that is a top 5 point guard numbers in the league. And the fact remains, with the Melo and Amari, without Jeremy Lin, they were losing games. With Jeremy Lin and without Melo and Amari, they're winning games. I know it's a soft schedule, but it's just the fact remains he's an important piece to the puzzle right now. And if I was going forward, I don't know who I would choose. I mean, I would obviously like to see a little bit more of Jeremy Lin and how he fares in the next coming months and the rest of the season.
You also got to realize, too, Rob, moving forward, Lin, in the past couple of games, he's made guys like Steve Novak look better, Jared Jeffries. These are guys that have been putting up some quality numbers with Amari and Melo out, and that's what you like to see out of your point guard.
Well, my thing is Melo's been a superstar since he's come into the league. Jeremy Lin's only played 9 games. How about let's see this guy play a full season and maybe beyond. So
it's a very valid point, Mike, and we can't argue with you there much. But we'll see. I mean, Jeremy Lin right now, like we said, superstar numbers. Let's see if he can keep it up for the rest of the season, and that would be phenomenal if he does. Guys, let's hop into the Western Conference now. Kobe Bryant, we know the Lakers, there's been trade rumors surrounding them the entire year, and mostly Pau Gasol. Now, he said to the front office, calling them out completely, either trade Pau or keep him, and there were some expletives involved, a little bit of cursing on camera. But, guys, were these comments out of line, Mike, to you?
I really don't think they're out of line at all. There's been rumblings going around the league, too, that Pau Gasol doesn't come to play every night because he doesn't know if he's still going to be a Laker or not, so why should he give it all for that team? And I think Kobe's perfectly fine with saying it. The Lakers haven't been that good all year. Their offense is only averaging 93 points a game, which is the lowest in the modern era for the LA Lakers. They're struggling right now. They finally got a big win last night and got Powell involved in the game. And I think Kobe's just taking his teammates back. And you know what? I think it was the right thing to do.
I think they were a little bit out of line. I think the message was a good message, and I think that's something you do behind closed doors. I just think the players should play, and the front office should handle the front office operations.
Yeah, I think that the front office really only has the team and Kobe's best interest in mind when looking at these trades, because I mean, honestly, if they would deal Powell, they would obviously only do it for the betterment of their team, because we know this is a playoff team already. So, I mean, I agree with Kobe in the regards what you're saying. You know, he's getting his players back, and I agree with that. But at the same time, like you said, the front office has to do its job. It has to be able to field trade rumors. It has to be able to field trades, period. You know, whether it's a good trade or a bad trade, Powell's on the block right now, and it's probably going to remain that way.
I personally don't think he was going after Mitch Kupchak. The guy made his team go to 3 NBA Finals. They won 2 in a row. I think he's going after Jim Buss, Jerry Buss's son. And there was an article that came out the other day by Kim Berger, who writes for ESPN LA, saying that the LA Lakers front office is in complete turmoil right now. There's a lot of nepotism. Their front office is not how it used to be. And I think Kobe was taking a shot at above Mitch Kupchak.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a possibility. That, like you said, since the passing of their owner, it just hasn't been the same environment in LA. I mean, but Kobe, we'll see what happens with Powell, and we'll basically see what happens with the Lakers. You know, they're not the same team, but they are playing well right now. Guys, let's hop right into topic number 2 right now. We have a Major League update. Guys, 43 days away from regular season. Spring training starts in 2 weeks, so it is fast approaching. It'll be here before we know it. But let's talk about the big name news. Manny Ramirez just signed a contract with the Oakland Athletics. Mike, what kind of impact is he going to have on that organization?
He definitely can't hurt. The A's haven't been able to hit the baseball in years. Every time it seems like they get good young players, 2 years later they trade him to try to get other young players. If Manny comes back after his 50-game suspension, he has to give him some type of productivity, because guys like Kurt Suzuki and Coco Crisp are not going to be able to carry a lineup. So this can't hurt.
I agree with Mike saying it's similar to the move that Billy Beane made a couple years ago when he got Frank Thomas in the lineup, a veteran guy in the clubhouse. I mean, he's looking for numbers from Manny that's going to be like 260, 20 homers, just something to knock the ball out of the ballpark, because they have no power in that lineup.
Yeah, I can agree with you guys. They do obviously need some type of offensive production. The only question I have is the type of attitude Manny brings there. We know, there's certain players in sports that could be a cancer to organizations. We have the Randy Mosses, Manny Ramirez, the list can go on. But other than that, if he can bring the production that you guys talk about, I mean, then the team definitely needs him. But if he acts more as a cancer and brings bad attitude to the playing field, I think he could have a negative impact on the squad.
Well, the thing, it's only a minor league deal too, so if he doesn't fare well in the minor leagues, they could just release him, and it's only a $500,000 contract. So I don't think this deal either way can hurt.
Very good point, Mike. And guys, let's move in. The Yankees, we know their pitching rotation has been in a little bit of turmoil the past year and a half. A.J. Burnett, he's been shipped. The contract is not gone from what you guys explained to me, but was this the right move, Mike, or should A.J. have been given one more year?
I think it's the right move. I think this happened a little too late. I think they should have done this before last season. The guy went 21-25, had over a 5 ERA. He was in and out of the rotation multiple times. He has a terrible attitude, and the worst part about it is he tried blaming the Yankees for messing with him. I think that's pretty pathetic on his part, and if you're a Yankee fan, you should be nothing but happy that he's off this team.
I totally agree with Mike saying. I don't know how you blame the Bronx Bombers, anybody. They're natural winners over there. I mean, you never knew what you were going to get from the guy every 5 days. He was a head case. Some days he pitched like an ace, and sometimes he pitched like he belonged in the minors.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw in the playoffs 2 years ago when they won the World Series, or 3 years ago now. He had a great playoff appearance, and it was just after that he was never the same. I agree. They should have gotten rid of him. Like you said, he's an absolute head case. You never know who's showing up, which AJ, the calm and collected, or the out of control AJ. I think it was the right move to get rid of him. And Mike, what do you think about their rotation now?
Their rotation now, they still have 6 guys. They go 6 deep. Freddie Garcia is their 6th starter, which isn't bad at all. Guy won 13 games. They brought in this kid Pineda, who's an absolute tank. He's 6'8", 290. He's bigger than CC. Throws 98, 100 miles an hour. Arguably the best young right-handed pitcher in the game. I think the Yankees now have the best pitching staff in the American League possibly, and I think they're going to win this division with this pitching staff.
Now that Pineda's going to have the run support that he didn't have last year, look for him to put up quality numbers.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees had an abundance of starters this time around, and I think it was the right move to go and, deal AJ to the Pirates for a couple of prospects. Guys, let's move into the last topic number 3 of the show, and we're going to cover the NHL for the first time this season. Mike, you're our NHL expert, so let's throw the first question to you. Who's your favorite? We're approaching playoffs, by the way, soon. Who's your favorite coming out of the East?
Barring the trade deadline, I think the Rangers are still the favorite. They have the best goalie in hockey right now, in Henrik Lundqvist. They have a great young defense. They have McDonough, they have Stahl, they have Michael Del Zotto. Great young defense. And they believe in their coach's system. They bang people around. And they have 2 superstars in Brad Richards and Marian Gaborik. And they have a great leader like Ryan Callahan.
I agree. I had the Rangers as well. Tortorella's got the crew ready to play every night. They'll straight up beat you up on the ice, gentlemen. They got Rupp. He'll get after you every single night. And Lundqvist has been standing on his head.
Yeah, overall, I think the East is a little bit weaker than the West. And I have to agree. My hometown Rangers been a fan since I was a little kid. And they're just playing very good hockey right now. There's no doubt about it. Like you said, they go out there, they play physical, and that's a huge part of hockey. And they got the offensive firepower right now.
One thing right now, you got to watch out for the Devils. They're on a hot streak. I believe they're 10-0 in their last 10 games. And they're tied for second with the Bruins in the East. If they get another big trade, that would be very dangerous in the East. But right now, like you said, the Rangers are definitely the favorite.
Okay, Mike, who's your favorite coming out of the West?
Well, everyone thinks Detroit's a favorite, and they've been the class of hockey for the last 15 years. No one can argue that. But people forget they're a very old team, and they've done this before. They get into the playoffs. They play a more talented, much more skilled team, a younger team, and they lose in the playoffs early, too. I picked Chicago Blackhawks in the beginning of the year. I'm still going to stick with them. They're 6th in the East. They just reeled off 3 big wins. And the Blackhawks are a good goalie away from being the team that they used to be 2 years ago that won the Cup. So I'm going to stick with the Blackhawks.
There's something to be said about a team that wins at home, and the Detroit Red Wings, they just rallied off 23 in a row, and I think that's going to come a long way, go playoff time.
Yeah, I mean, these 2 teams you guys speak of are very good, but I'm going to go with the Vancouver Canucks. I think that they were there last year. They were the favorites last year. They couldn't really pull it in and win the Stanley Cup last year. But they are there again. They're playing great. Luongo stepped up his play tremendously in the past month or two. And the Sedin brothers and Kessler, they have a lot of firepower on that team as well. I think it's going to be a very close race between those 3 teams. And I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit won the actual Western Conference. But I think that we'll see Vancouver in the Stanley Cup again. And, guys, my last question, we have a trade deadline matter. Rick Nash of the Columbus Blue Jackets, they're absolutely awful this year. And he's a bona fide superstar. Mike, do you see him moving anywhere before the trade deadline?
Right now, I don't. Everyone keeps saying the Rangers are going to trade for him, but the Rangers are going to have to willing to give up either McDonough or Michael Del Zotto, one of their 3 great minor leaguers that they have, like Chris Kreider or JT Miller, and a player like Dubinsky, who's a big part of the team. You have to have an NHL-ready player now with the new trade system they have in the NHL. The only team I could see Rick Nash going to is the LA Kings. LA Kings ranked last in scoring, which is hard to believe because they have guys like Mike Richards and Anze Kopitar. And the Kings also have 2 great prospects in Bernier and Jack Johnson who could get Rick Nash. That's really the only place I could see him going because I don't see the Rangers trying to depart with their great young players and ruining their chemistry.
Yeah.
I don't see him going to the Rangers either. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
I think that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, Mike. I mean, we're gonna, I think, follow your opinion on this one because
You said it all.
I agree. I mean, the Rangers, like you said, they're not going to give up one of their defensive studs right now. Del Zotto and McDonough, those guys are all real young. And then just to, like you said, it's just not really it's not possible anywhere else. Maybe the LA Kings, maybe somebody like the Devils will try and make a move, but I think he's going to hang in Columbus for a little while, which is unfortunate because his talents really are going to a waste there. But I just don't see anything happening before the trade deadline. You guys have anything to add?
Well, there's whispers, too, that the Bruins are trying to trade for a top goal scorer, but I don't think they really have much either. The Blue Jackets want Sagan, and who's going to give up a tremendously talented 19-year-old like that either? So looks like Rick Nash is definitely going to stay put.
We'll definitely keep you updated on the NHL season. I'm glad we got to it today for the first time. Maybe we could bring in Phil Fusco, our NHL analyst. But that's it for the Cover 3 today. Gentlemen, you have anything to add before the show?
I just like to give a shout out to the Loyola Hounds, the basketball team. First 20-win season in God knows how long. Coach Patsos has got the squad rolling.
Yep.
Just can't wait for spring training and baseball. I'm a huge baseball fan, huge Yankee fan. Looks like we're the favorites again, baby.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of things to be excited about. We got baseball coming up. The cross season just started off right. And the Hounds, they're still rolling. Just beat BU on Sunday. We'll catch you next week, Loyola, and you can check out the Cover 3 on Greycomm.tv or Channel 33 on your TV. Take it easy.